Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys went a little bit bullish yesterday, locked in some gains. Yesterday was a fun one for sure. But what's even more fun and just makes me happy and well tingly and warm inside is the squadron piling into the house. We got Al. Good morning to you. Good morning to Albert, Bill, D, Diane, Eric, Fabrice, George, Jay, Linder, Joe, Joseph Ford, Kevin Stone's in the house. Good morning to Lawrence. We got Marius, Martino, Wally. Good morning to all my YouTube peeps. Marie, Lala, Richard Jet. We got Daniel in the house. You guys are on your like game too. I didn't even start that opening video yet. I saw some likes coming in, so make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe on YouTube if you guys have not done so. It's just like that little thumbs up thing. I don't know. It just makes me feel good about myself. That's all. That's it. It's just a little ego boost. But what else is good for the Bulls? We do have a little bit of a gap up. So that's looking decent so far. Clearing definitely a pivot. I do see one little resistance on the SPY though that we would have to get through. The market moved yesterday based on Fed talk. So the one thing, I mean, we've been talking about the rate pause for a while. During the Fed talk, the Fed interview that happened yesterday during the live market, there was a little bit back and forth, and they still held some of their positions. But the one thing that really came out that took the market by surprise, and you could even see is pretty much essentially right when that thing came in. We've been chopping and just building pressure. But the Fed came out and said, we might even see rates being lowered by spring. So everybody was kind of pushing it till the November, December of next year. They thought we could get one rate cut, something like that. There's now starting to say, yeah, maybe as of spring, and that was right around this time here, and market just kind of took off and ran from there. We did give some back at the end of the day, but that giving back at the end of the day creates that little top wick. We are gapping above that wick, and the one thing again, this is technically a retest gap. I would be probably a little bit patient in the bullish direction. The other thing to consider too, we got to go back. We got to go back in time a little bit. And I'm not saying this is the case or this is what's going to happen or anything like that, because I have no idea, just giving my thought process. But usually reversals come with gaps, pretty large gaps after a already big move. So if we're going back to, I believe this was October. Yep, October 17th, something like that. Was it 17th? I believe this is CPI report. Thursday, October 13th. Big downtrend, just kept on falling. End of the world, sky is falling, everything is going horrible. We got that big gap down off of some a big hot miss on CPI. We gapped down, and that was the full rally back, and we just started to pump from there. So again, I don't know that that's going to happen. I don't think so at this point. I've got no reason to believe, but what I will be very interested in is to see how this candle closes. If we come back and it's I kind of think we maybe do a red candle today. I think that's very possible. I'm looking for some kind of a retest, maybe into 454.93-ish, back into that spot. So how long it takes, I don't know, but this could definitely be a red candle at close. I'm not too concerned with that. That's still fine. We're still hanging out above these numbers. Great. Could we do some kind of a high wave so we retest and we kind of come back? Okay, that's fine too. And I think both those scenarios, I'm still looking a little bit more bullish. If for some reason today does what we did October 13th, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, I have no clue where this thing ends, but if this thing comes down and we end up putting in a bearish engulfing candle, especially if we get some increased volume today, that might be the start of, well, we had a really, really good pump, good gap. I think everybody's excited. Well, as long as you're a bull, you're kind of happy today at open. But I do want to watch how this candle closes. I think it's going to be very, very important to the markets. Where if we don't hold this gap that we're having today, I think we could get into a little bit of trouble. So again, nothing at open that would signify that that's going to happen, but I'm very, very cautious after we have these big moves, zero pullbacks. We get these gap ups. Legitimately, if you've bought in a stock in November, I guess I shouldn't say all stocks because I'm sure some are down, aka Baba or some of the Chinese names. Even some of the Chinese names have run. But if you've purchased a stock anytime from October 27th to yesterday, you're more than likely profitable on that purchase at open today. You're also at a key resistance in terms of VPOC. You're also at the top of that little last pivot. So again, I think today is a day where some people might get a little cautious, want to start to lock some profits. That's what I'm thinking. Does it have to be a big bearish engulfing candle? I don't think so. It doesn't have to be. But if somehow we find ourselves in that situation or some news comes out that causes that little extra drop today, that could get a little scary. So again, no real alert or anything I'm concerned about at open. It's how we close. I think that's going to be a very important key today. So that I'm going to be watching for. Also, RIP Charlie Munger. His birthday is January 1st. He was 99 years old. He had like a month, 35 days, something like that, until 33 days till the big 100. But definitely influential to the investing community. I know I've studied a lot of Charlie Munger stuff, so I definitely respect that guy. And one more month, just one more month, you can make it a big 100. But we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, the market not really caring too much. Warren Buffett, I think, would be the bigger one. If somebody was texting me yesterday, like, "Hey, did you see Charlie Munger died?" I was like, "Yeah, that's crazy." He's like, "You think the market drops tomorrow?" I'm like, first of all, the guy just died. Just worry about your account later. It's not the time. Second of all, no, probably not. I don't think it matters as much. Warren Buffett might be a different story, but we'll see. The Qs. So the Qs, we do have a little bit of a gap up. This one, again, still technically a retest gap. I do love the fact that we're above this. I mean, the Qs, honestly, is I'm 50-50. I think we can get a little pullback. Again, bearish engulfing candle, I think is a big warning sign on this market. I don't have any reason to believe that's what's going to happen. But I do think we get some kind of a little pullback at open still. Get back into this range right here. That's somewhere around the, 391-ish. Somewhere around 391. And then I'm looking for that bounce. If that bounce doesn't happen and we start to sink a little bit lower, my little spidey senses go up a little bit, and I would be a little concerned that, again, not that we have this big rollover, massive rollover, we start breaking the October lows. I don't think anything like that yet, but we've gone pretty far extended. And again, you're getting to that point where any of these gaps now, I think they could get a little troublesome in terms of people at least wanting to take profits. We got the end of the year coming up, and we'll see how things play out. But I don't know. So I think at open we could see a little bit of sell off. If we just launch out of the gate, I'll probably miss some trades if we just do nothing but rally all day. I think anything that gets bought up right at the open, at least we'll have the opportunity to pull back at some point. So we got maybe 15 minutes of buying and then that rollover. That could be the case too. But at some point, I think we get that rollback. I'm still interested in buying dips if we can get them. Breakouts are going to be very difficult here, I think. Otherwise, in terms of targets on the Qs, let's see. I got really nothing for a while. Getting into a little high volume area. So 394.18, and maybe we see 395.63, something like that. T-Doc. Playoffs. I don't want to talk playoffs. All right. Let's see the TLT real quick, and then we'll get into some of the tickers. We do have a TLT is rallying a little bit. Again, this is also a retest gap. I love the fact that we're gapping above that moving average. That looks good. But again, a little bit of a retest pullback. Otherwise, targets could be into the 92. We had GDP come out today too. That came in a little bit hot, which would pull back TLT a little bit. But we do have to watch this one. This is also technically a retest gap. And again, I do expect this one at some extent to pull back retest before we come in and eventually, I think, close this gap of like 93.42. But even that pullback, I think, puts a little extra pressure on the overall markets to at least take some profits and just see what happens. But TLT, Yeah, pretty nice gap. Looks good under the hood for, and then again, there'll be a certain point. I'm using TLT a lot recently because the market's reacting to bonds. So as long as TLT continues to at least hold, it doesn't necessarily have to go up, but at least hold or have some kind of upside potential. I think that's decent. Let's take a look at T-Doc real quick for my boy Kevin Stone. Was this on news? Is Kathy Woods buying more? Is that what's happening? Why is T-Doc down to? No, they're not down today. Oh, that was 5 days ago. So they don't really have. They give me the news ticker, but the last news was 5 days ago from Zacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down here? I don't know. What is a short float on T-Doc? It doesn't look like we're gapping on earnings. What am I doing? Finviz. There we go. T-Doc. Short float. 11.48. I kind of like that. All right. Get some wind beneath the wings. Bet Midler. Into a little bit of resistance. That was a good breakout candle. Lots of volume yesterday. The memes are watch any of the meme stocks today. Not that T-Doc is really one of them, but it is a Kathy Wood stock. So, for instance, we have GameStop running like crazy. That might be one to watch. T-Doc, I think, is another one that could fall similar to the same category as just a Kathy Woods type play. Lower, if we do lower rates in spring, something like T-Doc will benefit from that. Still fairly young company in its adolescence still. So we'll have to see on this one. Big resistance. Otherwise, so let's see if we get a little pullback here, and then maybe I think we do probably continue bullish. We did stall so far pre-market into that one moving average. I'd want to see us pull back a little bit and then start getting above probably 1823, and we could kind of move from there. We'll see, but probably look for continuation again. A little pullback at open, I think, would be a healthy one. Tesla big day tomorrow. So the question is, sell the news? I don't know. We got Cybertruck. Was it tomorrow? Thursday? Wednesday? Tomorrow's Thursday. Cybertruck Thursday. So they have their full presentation. You're gonna start introducing the Cybertruck into the world. It's gonna be a fantastic event. There's gonna be some laughs, some tears, some real knee slappers. It's gonna be crazy. Watch out for Tesla at open though. This one is at a very key volume area, longer term volume zone. I have it right at 249.98. We were at 249.77. This is a retest gap. See if this one wants to fade it open. So again, I don't want to be a buyer of this one at open, but if this one fades back, and then we've seen the Apple events. And the interesting thing I mean, I guess Apple kind of does it during the day too, but a lot of times, most of these conferences and introductions and announcements and things like that happen after the market. This one is 12 noon Eastern, I believe. So right during the market session, we're going to have Tesla come out, do their whole spiel. So tomorrow's gonna be fun on Tesla. We've seen a lot of times, I don't think we've seen it as much on Tesla, but on Apple, they'll come out and hey, we have this new product. It's a game changer, life-changing product, and it's the most amazing thing, and people just sell off. Right. So we'll see if that's going to be the case tomorrow. Right here, I think very huge resistance. Probably some orders to sell would be in there too. I think we get this little pullback first, and then if we want to try to continue, but that's going to be a key level. Again, this is going to be a candle where I want to see where it closes. Anything above 250, I think at least the next stop is about 255, and then we're probably on our way to 264-ish, somewhere up in that zone at least. But looks good. Nice little flag pattern, pennant pattern, good breakout yesterday. Again, this is a retest gap. I don't want to really be the first one to buy out of the gate. And then we got that big move or big conference or circus or whatever you want to call it tomorrow. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, that one looks pretty interesting. This might be one we could play out of the gate. Uh, with even the markets rallying yesterday, what did AMD end up doing yesterday? AMD's still technically had the gap down, little indecision candle. AMD looks pretty phenomenal as well. Nvidia was a lagger for sure. Actually, we closed the day red, so this is a gap and go. Uh, my real question is, if the bulls were very, very weak yesterday, almost non-existent. I have targets of 487.29. If the bulls want to step in and push it above it, that makes a really good trade up to about 496.70. Problem was there was no bulls yesterday. We had some volume, nothing too crazy yesterday. We still got some of these moving averages really holding this thing down. And then the question is, and we did hit this. We already retested that one spot, so that might make it a little bit more likely we could break through. And then we're looking for that 496. I'm gonna have to move this. It's already top of the list. Good. Yeah, I kind of like Nvidia out of the gate. AMD looked interesting, so let's take a look at that one real quick. Not quite all-time highs. We got a little bit more to go. Did this one just come down a little bit? We're still above that previous VPOC. That looks good. I think AMD could get a nice little run on it too. The big spot for AMD is about 124.62. If we could break that, at least I think then we get to 126.55. And if it's crazy today, 129.19, which would be absolutely wild. We're starting to lose all that volume area in here. So that's going to throw all the volume on the support side of things as opposed to resistance. I'm going to move AMD up a little bit too, but yeah, watch some of the chips. We'll see what they want to do today. Both NVIDIA and AMD look pretty fantastic. So we'll see. What's up, Sky? All right. So AMD, good. Yeah, I hope they don't break the window again, Albert. But I hope they retest it. I hope they throw the same baseball or rock or whatever it was at the window just to prove to everybody we fixed the issues. But I don't know if they want to take that chance. I don't know. That'd be rough. Microsoft, there's zero up here. I've got no targets. Infinity, I guess, Moon, whatever you Wall Street bet people want to call it. But yeah, I mean, we're hitting 52-week highs at open. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. But this is a retest gap again. I don't know where this thing wants to stop, and maybe at this point 400. Good psychological whole number. Maybe we front run that 400 a little bit. But pretty clear skies. Again, just not going to be the first one to buy it. This is technically a retest gap. Really nice close. Hardly any wick at the top yesterday. So a lot of bulls profitable waking up today. No matter what time of day you bought yesterday, you are profitable today. Let's see if some people want to lock profits. So right now, I mean, again, Microsoft, yeah, I want to stick bullish. It's definitely got momentum on it. But we would have to get a pullback first, I think. Yeah, I don't want to be the first one to buy it. We looked at AMD, Microsoft. AI has a gap today. Yeah, so watch anything AI. Let's take a look at Palantir as well. I think Palantir was gapping up above 20 last I looked in the morning. AI, I'd have to play it with the same thought process that we did have some buying yesterday. I mean, we had some tweezer tops here. This is a tricky one. What's gonna prove more value? Well, let's see what the last candle was that really affected this stock. I would think, or affected somebody's emotions. I would think this one big candle right here is really the key to that. We did not really. So this candle opened up down here somewhere. We made it up in here. Bears just absolutely slammed this thing down. And we have, since that candle, besides yesterday, we have not had a close past the open of that one big candle. Yesterday was a really good close. We are into the bear territory up here, where bears weren't able to put their foot down and create a relatively decent stance. And this is a retest gap. I really don't know if I want to short this. because we do have these tweezers up here too. So that's pretty bullish. The fact that we got what 9 minutes left. The fact that we were able to break through that last spot, really where the bulls came in. I would say we could get a little bit of a pullback first. I'm not sure to what extent. So it could be up until just right above this 30 mark. Or if we want to dip a little bit below, then we're probably more likely to come into, I would think, at least the high of the day, 29.66, but I'd really be looking for probably like 29.47. So it's gonna be a little tough. It's gonna be a little tough. I like this thing bullish, the fact that we're now closing above that mark and opening up, but a little bit of consolidation, pullback, something like that, and then I think we go would be at least my plan for it, because I don't know. Once we get up, a target's the high side for me would be about 31.24. We can make some money on that. And then with any belief that we could break through it, this thing could go wild. But yeah, give me a little pullback first. This wick did retest up there. That's even breakable at this point. So yeah, I think I buy the dip on that one, makes sense. But the question is, how far does it dip? And that's I don't know. I don't know. Let me just see some things. Marie Lala says struggling at 455. Maybe nice today for a breakout to the upside. 455 has been huge on the SPY. Absolutely. Marie Lala says, my birthday is on January 3rd. We're almost birthday buddies. Mine's the 4th. Rock says, GM with a massive gap. Yep, we'll take a look at that one. That one looks interesting as well. Q1 rate cuts. Maybe that will go up. Yeah, they're saying spring, so we might have to wait for Q2. AMD, we took a look at. TLT, we took a look at. Can we take profit or let it run? I have a big trade on it. I'm not sure. TLT, you're talking about? I would start piecing out a little bit. I think sell. For me, this is what I would do. I would probably look to start to take some profits and then repurchase the dip. So this way, I still have something on the table just in case it runs crazy. Great. And then if it does dip a little bit, you could take some of the gains and rebuy even dollar cost average potentially. But it seems to me like for now, the bottom of TLT has been put in. Thank you, Bill Ackman, for announcing that on Twitter for us. We got Tesla. We did that. Disney, we could take a look at. Market is pulling back right now. Foot Locker. Yep, you guys want to take a look at Foot Locker. I'm seeing a little mixed report. I got 12% in YouTube of short squeeze, but you guys in the chat telling me 13%. So we're somewhere in the range of 12 to 13. Really, really crazy gap already. Bears have to really protect this spot. Targets on this for me would be probably about $30.26. That's a lot of room to the high side. That's still $3 more to the high side. I don't know. This is just too wide of a gap for me. This is definitely a retest gap, clearing a whole bunch of, anybody short down here. I'm not sure why you would be short on Foot Locker. But anybody in this range now is also now waking up with what was a profitable position. Not so much. They might freak out. This could be a runner. I'm going to throw this one up higher. I still want to see what I would like to see on this one, just because when you get to these gaps, they're just too high. There's plenty of room to the downside, but also plenty of room to the upside. I think support on this one probably at this point is going to come in at 25.34. I'm not sure this is a gap that fills. I just don't see it. Not yet. Maybe a few days from now, possibly. But for today, 25.34, I think is to your low side. So that gives you about $2 to the downside. Still got about $2 and change to the higher side, almost $3 to the higher side. If we get up there, we got one key spot. That's going to be 27.99. So if we can't break that, then all of a sudden now risk to reward actually becomes to the bear side. So it's all based on your belief. Is that candle breakable today? That is a good short float on this thing. So we'll have to see. I would like to see some kind of high wave indecision, maybe a slight pullback. And then I think looking to buy the dip on this one would make sense for today for a day trade. Let's take a look at GM. So GM, I believe they initiated a buyback program. What was it? 10 billion, something like that. I love the buyback. Even more so, they did reconfirm the dividend too. So they get their dividend. Their talks are over. Back to work. And then they coming in with a hot hand going, let's just buy our stock. It is way too cheap. So For longer term aspect of buying things, I love when companies buy back shares. Take some of the shares off, give me a little bit more percentage of ownership in the company, and I'll do just fine with that. But targets to the higher side, I'm looking at probably about 33.30. You're into a major resistance. This is a retest. I probably wouldn't get too excited on this one at the open and probably see if we get a fade, possibly a buy the dip opportunity at a future date for me. But I don't think I'd probably even trade this one today, just for me, just for my style. If you want to play aggressive and you want to shorten this thing down, I do like the retest a little bit better on GM. We will see. Did we look at Amazon yet? AMZN. I don't believe we did. The Zon. We're combining those two candles. We're sitting still inside of a big high wave. Momentum to the higher side. Again, see if we get a pullback on this one too. So somewhere around 147.11. If we get down there, that would be your spot to look to buy. Resistance is going to be 148.80. So we're trapped in that zone still on Amazon. Could be a little back and forth. So on this one, if I could buy low, sell high, somewhere around this 147, 146.92, somewhere in that zone, on a pullback would be a spot where I would tempt. Otherwise, I mean, again, follow the trend. It's been bullish. We literally made a new high 2 days ago, and I think I want to continue that trend as well. So we shall see. But I think there's some better options at open than this one. Specifically, my favorite right now, NVIDIA, AMD, and I'm gonna put Foot Locker a little bit higher as well. So those are my top 3 for today. We shall see. Huge fan from India. Welcome, great stuff on your channel. I'm messing my exits. I don't know what that means. What can I do to improve? I'm not sure exactly how you're messing up your exits, but I would say have your exits planned before your entrance. I think is usually key. So we're doing something. We got 2 minutes. So for instance, I'm doing a group where we're just taking 10K or whatever you want to start with, and we're just selling at 10%. I have 2 separate brackets going. One of them is the official one, another one's the side one. I'm in on the side one, which I started after PayPal, and that one I'm up to. I just entered level 4 on SoFi yesterday, and already I'm up like 5%, something like that. So I've already ran through four cycles. I'm on level 4 of this bracket, and my goal is to sell at what is it, 10%? So 773, something like that, whatever the case. The last one I did was Mara, right? And I sold at 11.11 was my 10%. But that was a day trade. That's nothing. So I missed a lot of the upside. So I'm never going to capture all the upside. Am I mad? I mean, I could have stayed in this one and got to past 2 levels so far. I don't know where the stock is going to go. I just have to follow my plan. So as long as you're following your plan before you enter, you have a plan of like, cool, if it gets here, I'm going to sell. Then don't feel so upset that you are not taking your targets too soon. But the more danger to any trade is if you're in this thing too long because it's just going to keep going, and just as much as you're up, then the plan is as it comes down, when are you selling, right? So I'd rather miss the upside, lock the gains, find something else, rotate into it. But I hope that helps a little bit. Let's take a look real quick at Coinbase. Coin's just been running nonstop again, just up massive. Probably more room in it. I think Bitcoin's up today as well. There's anything in the way of Coinbase to probably hit 174-ish. Maybe we stop a little bit sooner, 167. There's a lot more room on Coinbase. I think that's a buy the dip in a longer term if it comes in. Unfortunately, YouTube, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, that like, subscribe. That is the opening bell. I got to go. You guys are awesome. I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Later, guys.